Well, economy is something beyond my expertise, though. I may just offer my comment by observing what happened in Turkey right after COVID outbreak. There was a great shrink of economy. There was no production. And in the meantime, there was an expected global economic crisis. And what Erdogan did was to reduce the interest rates, and by that way, encouraged businessmen to have loans from the banks with low interests, and in the meantime, continue to produce the commodities. Why? Because once he could increase the interest rates, there could be no investment, and it means unemployment. So what Erdogan achieved was actually to have a reduced degree of unemployment that prevented also a social unrest in Turkey. On the other hand, it does have limits. Right after the elections, because it could have a political price actually, right after the elections, Erdogan selected the appropriate persons to govern the Turkish economy, and now they are pursuing an orthodox economic policy. So in this picture, I think Erdogan was stick to manage the existing crisis to some extent, and now pursuing a long-term project. So we have to wait and see the outcomes. I think there are two things should be observed. The first one is the history for the last 2 decades in Turkey, because there were some attempts to change Erdogan government, especially by the hands of Western Western governments. In 2012 and 13, there was a coup attempt by the hands of judges and prosecutors. And just prior to that, there was a societal upheaval. In 2015, PKK was really active in the downtowns at the southeast. And in 2016, there was a coup attempt. So there was a lacking trust towards the West. And once there happened a revolution in Syria, what Turkey proposed to the United States and Europe was to act together actively. And they refused. And there were some, escalations regarding defense procurements. For instance, the US had refused to sell Patriots, and Turkey had to buy S-400s. These are the facts. And now what Turkey started to, do, well, Turkey started a self-help system with no dependency to the West, but searched for an independence, which is a strategic autonomy. On the other hand, the Western accusation was a probable shift of axis of Erdogan towards China and Russia, but it was not the fact. For instance, when Russian aggression started to Ukraine, well, it was first Turkey with no hesitation providing UAVs and ammunition to Ukrainian defense forces. And the Europeans spared at least 2 months to deliver adequate level of ammunition. And Turkish aircrafts were also in Ukrainian territory for logistical purposes, and they could not leave Ukraine. That means if Russia had to withdraw from Kiev at the very earliest phase, it was because of the Turkish military support to Ukraine. But it indicates another issue. Turkey is stick to a new mood of foreign policy. If you are cooperating with Russia to resolve an incompatibility, for instance, in Libya or Syria, it doesn't mean that you will fight. Because it's only Turkey, right after the Cold War, who, just pulled the trigger to Russian soldiers. Turkey both fought against Russia and negotiated with Russia. And that's why the new mood of foreign policy is first to compartmentalize the relations, disregarding disputes. You can negotiate and fight in the meantime. If the Russian actions are not favoring Turkish interests, you can challenge. Well, for the United States, if you ask me the resonation of Erdogan and Biden and Trump and Obama, it's about action and reaction process. Why? Once the US acts unfavoring Turkish interests, for instance, providing support to PKK, the reaction of Turkey was to what? Challenge the United States. And now Erdogan is in a phase to fix this relation, but we will see if there will be an achievement or not, because the US must give up to providing support to PKK for a normalization.